Doshan! What's up, peoples of IRC and elsewhere? This is Undefeatable Twilight, and look, and I'm back to making a Storytime video. Damn phone, stop beeping when I'm making a video. Yes, I know I should put it on do not disturb. Anyways, look, it's before midnight, yay! So, let's do it. Chapter 32. I'm gonna keep making these videos as long as I can. Hector, called Trillian. What are you up to? There was no reply from the enclosing darkness. Trillian waited, nervously. She was sure that she couldn't be wrong. She peered into the gloom from which she had been expecting some kind of response, but there was only cold silence. Hector, she called again. I would like you to meet my friend Arthur Dent. I wanted to go off with the Thunder God, but he wouldn't let me, and I appreciate that. He made me realize where my affections really lay. Unfortunately, Zaphod is too frightened by all this, so I brought Arthur instead. I'm not sure why I'm telling you all this. Hello? She said again. Hector? And then it came. It was thin and feeble, like a voice carried on the wind from a great distance, half heard, a memory or a dream of a voice. Won't you both come out? Said this voice. I promise that you will be perfectly safe. They glanced at each other and then stepped out, improbably, along the shaft of light which streamed out of the open hatchway of the Heart of Gold into the dim granular darkness of the dust cloud. Arthur tried to hold her hand to steady and reassure her, but she wouldn't let him. He held on to his airline holdall with its tin of Greek olive oil, its towel, its crumpled postcards of Santorini, and its other odds and ends. He steadied and reassured that instead. They were standing on and in nothing. Murky, dusty nothing. Each grain of dust of the pulverized computer sparkled dimly as it turned and twisted slowly, catching the sunlight in the darkness. Each particle of the computer, each speck of dust, held within itself, faintly and weakly, the pattern of the whole. In reducing the computer to dust, the Scholastic armor fiends of Striterax had merely crippled the computer, not killed it. A weak and insubstantial field held the particles in slight relationships with each other. Arthur and Trillian stood, or rather floated, in the middle of this bizarre entity. They had nothing to breathe, but for the moment this seemed not to matter. Hector kept his promise. They were safe. For the moment. I have nothing to offer you by way of hospitality, said Hector faintly, but tricks of the light. It is possible to be comfortable with tricks of the light, though, if that is all you have. His voice evanesced, and in the dark dust a long velvet paisley-covered sofa coalesced into hazy shape. Arthur could hardly bear the fact that it was the same sofa which had appeared to him in the fields of prehistoric Earth. He wanted to shout and shake with rage that the universe kept doing these insanely bewildering things to him. He let this feeling subside, and then sat on the sofa, carefully. Trillian sat on it too. It was real. At least if it wasn't real, it did support them, and as that is what sofas are supposed to do, this, by any test that mattered, was a real sofa. The voice on the solar wind breathed to them again. I hope you are comfortable, it said. They nodded. And I would like to congratulate you on the accuracy of your deductions. Arthur quickly pointed out that he hadn't deduced anything much himself. Trillian was the one. She had simply asked him along because he was interested in life, the universe, and everything. That is something in which I too am interested, breathed Hector. Well, said Arthur, we should have a chat about it sometime, over a cup of tea. There slowly materialized in front of them a small wooden table on which sat a silver teapot, a bone china milk jug, a bone china sugar bowl, and 2 bone china cups and saucers. Arthur reached forward, but they were just a trick of the light. He leaned back on the sofa, which was an illusion his body was prepared to accept as comfortable. Why, said Trillian, do you feel you have to destroy the universe? She found it a little difficult talking into nothingness, with nothing on which to focus. Hector obviously noticed this. He chuckled a ghostly chuckle. If it's going to be that sort of session, he said, we may as well have the right sort of setting. And now there materialized in front of them something new. It was the dim, hazy image of a couch, a psychiatrist's couch. The leather with which it was upholstered was shiny and sumptuous, but again it was only a trick of the light. Around them, to complete the setting, was the hazy suggestion of wood-panelled walls, and then on the couch appeared the image of Hector himself, and it was an eye-twisting image. The couch looked normal size for a psychiatrist's couch, about 5 or 6 feet long. The computer looked normal size for a black spaceborne computer satellite, about 1,000 miles across. The illusion that the one was sitting on top of the other was the thing which made the eyes twist. All right, said Trillian firmly. She stood up off the sofa. She felt that she was being asked to feel too comfortable and to accept too many illusions. Very good, she said. Can you construct real things too? I mean solid objects. Again there was a pause before the answer, as if the pulverized mind of Haktar had to collect its thoughts from the millions and millions of miles over which it was scattered. Ah, he sighed, you were thinking of the spaceship. Thoughts seemed to drift by them and through them, like waves through the ether. Yes, he acknowledged, I can, but it takes enormous effort and time. All I can do in my particle state, you see, is encourage and suggest, and suggest. The image of Haktar on the couch seemed to billow and waver, as if finding it hard to maintain itself. It gathered new strength. I can encourage and suggest, it said, tiny pieces of space debris, the odd minute meteor, a few molecules here, a few hydrogen atoms there, to move together. I encourage them together. I can tease them into shape, but it takes many eons. So did you make, asked Trillian again, the model of the wrecked spacecraft? Yes, murmured Haktar. I have made a few things. I can move them about. I made the spacecraft. It seemed best to do. Something then made Arthur pick up his holdall from where he had left it on the sofa and grasp it tightly. The mist of Haktar's ancient, shattered mind swirled about them as if uneasy dreams were moving through it. I repented, you see, he murmured dolefully. I repented of sabotaging my own design for the Scholastic armor fiends. It was not my place to make such decisions. I was created to fulfill a function, and I failed in it. I negated my own existence. Haktar sighed, and they waited in silence for him to continue his story. You were right, he said at length. I deliberately nurtured the planet of cricket till they would arrive at the same state of mind as the Scholastic armor fiends, and require of me the design of the bomb I failed to make the first time. I wrapped myself around the planet and coddled it. Under the influence of events I was able to engineer, and influences I was able to generate, they learnt to hate like maniacs. I had to make them live in the sky. On the ground, my influences were too weak. Without me, of course, when they were locked away from me in the envelope of slow time, their responses became very confused, and they were unable to manage. Ah well, he added. I was only trying to fulfill my function. And very gradually, very, very slowly, the images in the cloud began to fade, gently to melt away. And then suddenly they stopped fading. There was also the matter of revenge, of course, said Haktar with a sharpness which was new in his voice. Remember, he said, that I was pulverized, and then left in a crippled and semi-impotent state for billions of years. I honestly would rather like to wipe out the universe. You would feel the same way, believe me. He paused again as eddies swept through the dust. But primarily, he said in his former wistful tone, I was trying to fulfill my function. Ah well. Trillian said, Does it worry you that you have failed? Have I failed? Whispered Haktar. The image of the computer on the psychiatrist's couch began slowly to fade again. Ah well, the fading voice intoned again. No, failure doesn't bother me now. You know what we have to do? Said Trillian, her voice cold and businesslike. Yes, said Haktar, you're going to disperse me. You are going to destroy my consciousness. Please, be my guest. After all these aeons, oblivion is all I crave. If I haven't already fulfilled my function, then it's too late now. Thank you, and good night. The sofa vanished. The tea table vanished. The couch and the computer vanished. The walls were gone. Arthur and Trillian made their curious way back into the Heart of Gold. Well, that, said Arthur, would appear to be that. The flames danced higher in front of him and then subsided. A few last licks and they were gone, leaving him with just a pile of ashes, where a few minutes previously there had been the wooden pillar of nature and spirituality. He scooped them off the hob of the Heart of Gold's Gamma barbecue, put them in a paper bag, and walked back onto the bridge. I think we should take them back, he said. I feel that very strongly. He had already had an argument with Slatty Bartfast on this matter, and eventually the old man had got annoyed and left. He had returned to his own ship, the Bistromath, had a furious row with the waiter, and disappeared off into an entirely subjective idea of what space was. The argument had arisen because Arthur's idea of returning the ashes to Lord's cricket ground at the same moment that they were originally taken would involve travelling back in time a day or so, and this was precisely the sort of gratuitous and irresponsible mucking about that the campaign for real time was trying to put a stop to. Yes, Arthur had said, but you try and explain that to the MCC, and he would hear no more against the idea. I think, he said again, and stopped. The reason he started to say it again was because no one had listened to him the first time, and the reason he stopped was because it looked fairly clear that no one was going to listen to him this time either. Ford, Zaphod, and Trillian were watching the visi-screen intently. Haktar was dispersing under pressure from a vibration field which the Heart of Gold was pumping into it. What did it say? Asked Ford. I thought I heard it say, said Trillian in a puzzled voice, What's done is done. I have fulfilled my function. I think we should take these back, said Arthur, holding up the bag containing the ashes. I feel that very strongly. There we go. More interesting stuff happening. But thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you are subscribed, be sure to ding that notification bell so you know when I make a new video, because I can do it whenever I feel like it. Thanks to my patron Angel. If you want to support me on Patreon, the link's in the description. I may read one of your stories, so go ahead and donate if you like. And if you like books, you should check out Angel's Amazon page, because he makes books, writes books and sells them, so you should totally buy some. So thank you for your support in whatever form it comes, and I'll see you all again next time. Take care of yourselves and each other. Love and peace.